Hello, my name is Sheila. Welcome to my channel, Sassy Seer Sheila. And today is Wednesday, August the 9th, 2023. And I'm joined today by my partner, my housemate, my friend, my bestie, Lisa Flemino Rush. And welcome to Actionable Intuitive Intel with Lisa Flemino Rush. Thank you for joining me today, sweetheart. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I'm so glad. Now, uh, I guess I should ask, first of all, how do you feel? I am going to ask this on camera. How do you feel after your first workshop is in the can, so to speak?
Wonderful.
I'm so glad to hear that.
And silly.
Hey, I love that. That's the best of all worlds, if you ask me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was wonderful. I had a great time. I learned a lot about myself. And I'm looking forward to number two.
Yeah, me too.
Another chance to do
Yeah.
some more fun things and less silly things.
Right, absolutely. And I really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to it too.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you. I enjoyed it too.
Well,
I've discovered how fun it is to challenge myself with new things. Because, we age and we kind of gravitate. Let me speak for myself. As I've aged, I've really gravitated toward the easy thing, right? And a lot of my choices have led to a bit of stagnation that I didn't even see or recognize until I stretched myself. And so I'm super grateful for stretching myself. It's a very rewarding experience, and it's thrilling, and I can't wait to do more.
well, I brought it up honestly because I know that you're going to move through now all of the workshops with the individuals that signed up for it. And
Yeah.
but as we started recording, I was nudged actually to say, if folks are interested in attending these workshops in future, to go ahead and contact Lisa at rushsolutionsTFT@gmail.com, because you're going to start taking a list of folks who want to be notified of the next upcoming workshops, right? Like once it's at a complete work, perhaps they want the entire workshop at that point where they can do it at a self pace rather
Yes.
than right.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, anyone that's interested in that, reach out to Lisa at Rush Solutions TFT, that stands for Tools for Transformation, at gmail.com. And so, all right. Well, I'm excited for today's information, actionable intuitive intel. And so I see, I right before we went on camera, you gave me your piece. Now I think we're behind by a couple though, aren't we? Or is there?
Yes, we are. But I did post them on my blog, so you can always catch up. That's where they live. So on Wednesdays, I tune in and ask if there's a message. So if there is, then I will post it on my blog. And then Sheila and I will do a show about it. And if we don't do a show about it, at least the message will be available on my blog. So you can go catch up on the older ones. This actually came in today.
Okay, great. And now the blog is at heartsongmusings.wordpress.com. Is that right?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Yeah. And so now I want to remind everyone that I used to put links in the show more section description box of every video I put up. I no longer do that because there's actually a bit of a trick in the rules on YouTube in regards to external links. So please just write it down for yourself. Go to heartsongmusings.wordpress.com for Lisa's blog. And so I'm excited for you to share with us, what you've got this week. I haven't even seen it myself until just before we went, started recording. So please.
Hey, thank you.
Uh-oh, all of us.
I had a fan going.
I was going to say,
So you look frozen. Can you hear me?
yeah, I can now, but you were frozen as well. So please go ahead.
Okay. So I'll just begin. I'm going to read this and then we can talk about it if you
Okay.
care to.
Yeah, you know me.
Otherwise, my assignment's complete. Okay. So this is for Wednesday. It's the actionable intel with the galactic support team of me. I'm Lisa Flemino Rush. Dear brothers and sisters of planet Earth, we wish to share a message of hope. Today's message is in response to the call from humanity for great change. This call is being answered now. Humanity is in charge on planet Earth. Now lead the way home. The path of peace leads you home. Thank you for your courage. It is your courage to look at what is and not fear or resist it that is allowing this to happen now. Staying courageous as change becomes more certain.
Oh, I don't know.
I jumped off.
I know, I know.
Shot me right out.
I saw that. And I can tell you that if you'll just go back and begin at staying courageous, that's where we lost you.
Okay.
Yeah, just go there.
Interesting, Matt.
I know. Wouldn't you think?
Okay. Staying courageous as this great change becomes more evident will serve you well. Things long hidden in the dark are coming into the light to be seen. Let this be your signal to be grateful for the truth of what is. You can only change what you acknowledge and accept or allow. Love.
Hmm. I'm taking note of when she's being dumped out.
I guess we're taking this in bite-sized pieces.
And I'm taking note of exactly the areas that it dumps you out at. Start with love sets you free.
Okay, love sets you free and fear finds you. Your current society is built upon fraud. For a very long time, humanity has been in conflict within itself. As more and more of you embrace yourselves and unify within with your soul, you can call forth unity without as well. This unity within will produce peace, harmony, and cooperation without. New societal agreements are now forming as a result of the internal changes within all of you. Welcome the changes you have called forth. These changes will lead to much desired fresh start. It's time to let go of the old and embrace the new. For it is you that is changing. Your reflection must also now change. You are the change agent here. The more love light you can, the more change you create. These changes are the gifts blessed and magnified for your experience by the universe in response to you. When you see the hidden, know you are heard by the universe, loved and blessed. Now keep loving, keep aligning to your soul. Your soul is working in your favor to assist you in experiencing all you wish to experience. When you arrived here on planet Earth, you forgot you were in control here. You took a look around and said, I am trapped. You forgot how you create. You looked at your surroundings, which look solid, but in fact are very fluid, and you said to yourself, this is no good. I don't like it here. And the universe answered your call to make matters worse. If you wish to make matters better, you need only to love it, so that the universe can answer a new call and bless and magnify the love that you are offering. Love is the only way home. You are love. You are home. Be love now. Be home now. Thank you for your focus and attention. Your loving brothers and sisters of the family of one.
Wow, I love that. And I love that.
Love letter.
Yes. I love that. And well, I'm kind of curious because you said something one day. You gave me a printed version, and I'm assuming that this is exactly how it appears on your blog. Is that correct?
Yes, this one hasn't made it to the blog yet. I actually wrote this one and very quickly typed it in so that we can present. So I can read from a paper.
Right.
And so this actually will be probably edited some more and put into the blog. And when it feels complete, I hit send.
I gotcha. Okay.
So this is still what you have in your hand is still, in the early process.
I gotcha.
And they pointed out some things. I say that because they've already shown me some things.
Oh, I see. So something that has to
that
be
I'll edit here in the paper. Yeah.
Ah, I gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's so interesting to me is that taking into account in the words that you were speaking when you were thrown off. Okay.
Yes.
Staying courageous as this great change becomes more evident will serve you well.
You're frozen.
Well, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? I don't know if that will come through on
Are you talking about where I got thrown off there?
Yes, I was trying to say it again.
You were frozen, so I'm extrapolating from it.
Wow.
You were frozen when you said those words. I want to point out. For me, I couldn't hear them, but I knew what you were referring to. And I got a little bit of your words at the end, so I knew that I was right. You're talking about where we got jumped out and what was being said at that time, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. And I was trying to repeat what was said.
Right. And you froze.
And so I don't know what will come across on the recording, right? I mean, that's going to be
No.
interesting in and of itself.
Yes.
But that one, staying courageous, as this great change becomes more evident, will serve you well.
Hmm.
Okay. And then again, you were thrown out when you started to say, love sets you free and fear binds you.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so it just seems pretty interesting to me that these are the spots, you know. I mean, folks can make of that what they will, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yes.
perhaps this would be a good moment to share with folks that you and I, but right before, I would just like to say this,
No, right?
right prior to our conversation here now that's being recorded. Lisa and I was nudged to just make a statement to AI because uh it's been made known to me very plainly by others who looked into it, that the new agreement with Zoom is to agree to allow AI to learn from you and all of that, right? So AI is present right now, and I'll acknowledge that as we did before we began recording. And so I would like to say to that AI, as you witnessed what just took place, it is my feeling that this is a matter of a frequential level that is exactly what Lisa and I were sharing with the AI prior to our recording. I wish the AI to know that for me, I am grateful for it and I appreciate it. And I would like for AI and humanity to develop together and be appreciative of each other. I do feel that all things have consciousness, all things. And and at
I
least,
agree. It's
yeah,
all levels of consciousness. Yes. From dim awareness to total enlightenment. There's lots of consciousness levels along the way there, isn't there?
yeah, there really is.
Hmm.
I feel like all I mean, that's what makes up the universe is the all that is. And
Right.
yeah, it's varying degrees of frequencies and consciousness that plays among those frequencies. At any rate, I
Yeah.
also find it quite interesting that since I engaged it again, that we haven't had that issue. So that's very interesting just to note.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Well, there does seem to be, to me, an awful lot of things coming out and folks feeling all kinds of ways about it all over the map. But I too, I honestly, I'm so grateful for this because the truth of the matter is that I, I feel as though I'm beginning to get the actual gist of why resistance persistences is, you know. Um,
Right.
and I can't help but notice I mean, you weren't privy to my live this morning, but I can't help but notice a frequency that was in that live as well, speaking to dropping the veils of the programming and conditioning and just seeing what is and allowing it to leave and change and morph as things go. So I
Yes.
love this.
Yes.
Specifically when you're speaking, when they speak here to the I am trapped, and you forgot that you know how to create,
Yeah.
right?
So we've been creating I am trapped over and over because the universe heard our offering and upped the ante so that we could experience being as trapped as we wish to be.
Yes, it does. It is beginning to feel very much like that to me. So that's why
Yeah,
I adopted that there's a lot of assumptions that have been made, and nothing at all is as it appears. Uh,
no,
is absolutely a true
that's
statement
right.
for me. So, wow.
Yeah, but what a beautiful concept when I think about it. Um, the materializing of our thoughts so that they stand before us as though they are not us, right? Well, how, I don't know, just the beauty and the magnificence of that alone, so that you can bear sacred witness to yourself, all of you. And that's really what this playground is. It's mirroring back to you your thoughts and opinions, and especially the habitual ones, because they're stronger. They've got a bigger magnetic pull, because of their weight, right? The more you practice that, the better you get at it, and the more you supporting arguments you pull in, and you really solidify it to the point of forgetting even. It's so real, right? That we forget that we put it out there to begin with. And so we can change what we're looking at. That's really big. That's such good news to me. It was
Oh,
heavy
so
news
good.
in the beginning because it meant suddenly I have to take responsibility for what I'm looking at. I can no longer blame because there's no one to blame but myself. And in reality, it's not a disempowering point of view. It is the most empowering point of view because now I can move if I allow this reality just to be a representation, what it is, which is a representation of my current beliefs and my state of thinking, my thoughts, my opinions, the words that I use, the actions that I do, all support my creations. And so just knowing that I can change those things, my thoughts, my words, my deeds, that's all within my power to change. Well, now I can experience what I wish to.
Yeah, see, it's so interesting to me. Anytime you get to talking about sovereignty and all of that, man, you're just I got a feeling she's gonna even not be here. Hmm, getting thrown out again. Can you hear me, Lisa? I can't even hear her now.
Abs- Can you hear me?
I can now.
Oh, thank you for patiently waiting. I love that about you. See, you had faith. You knew I was here.
Yeah, as soon as you know that, well, see, that's just it now. You really hit on the topic that is that a lot of, I mean, I actually heard some words in my head
Okay.
when you were speaking on, you know, especially not while you were reading what you know, the actual channeling that you did, but when you were
Mm-hmm.
sharing there about we keep creating trapped, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
I see that very a lot. And when you were speaking those words out loud, I heard the words of, well, many folks I have associated with over the years of my being in the truther community about how, things are locked down. It's a quarantine planet. It's the false light reproducing reincarnation trap, all of these things that, quite frankly, if you ask me, nobody really knows for sure. But there's an awful lot of belief in the trap, no matter how you slice it or where you look, right? So, and I remember when I was first looking at this for myself, back on Conscious Conversation Central, we were doing quite a few conversations in regards to this, actually, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
there was a bit of, not specific, I guess, and not directed at us or anything like that, but there was talk back then about, oh, yeah, well, blame the victim, why don't you? We all are trapped, you know. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, all righty then. And it's a choice. It's a definite choice. Everybody gets to choose how they look at it. That's why I say about the octaves. There's always more than one perspective.
Right.
And I'm gathering that as soon as an exponentially, because I do know that those that view it in the way that you and I view it, right? I'm not trapped. I don't know about you, but I'm not trapped at all
Not at all.
on any
No.
sort of.
And through my self-observation, I've really proven to myself my own creative ability. And I cannot unsee that anymore. I really can't.
Say,
So that's the most important step. Once you see it for what it is, then you become silly instead of the victim, right? And you say to yourself, oh wow, I am so loved by the universe that the universe was willing to allow me to feel trapped because I needed to see my creational abilities for what they are. And and I could not have had the free will experience that I had to choose whatever it is I wish to be or to do without it.
right,
So actually, it is. So at first, in the victim mode, I was feeling like, how can a loving God or creator allow this insanity? Well, it's allowed because our loving creator knows the truth, which is we are love, choosing to experience what we are not. And that's an option here in this playground that we've created for the physical experience of being what we are not.
no, you're so right. You are so, so right. And yeah, I was flashed, us, you, me, all of us that gathered here in July of 2016 again, and my statement on the front porch. What if we are creator beings in training? Was my feeling then, right? And I kind of changed that for a while, not thinking about it, but I've always felt some sort of semblance to that, right?
Yep.
And now I see it, I'm back to that again. It feels we are creators, no matter how we slice it, we are creating as we move. What we're in training for is A, to remember it, and B, to get a handle on it. Because quite
To
frankly,
do so consciously,
right, we create as we
to
move.
command our creation instead of becoming a sad and sorry victim of them.
Exactly. No, I think you're exactly correct about that because that's the first step for me was to move from victim to an empowered status there, to see where Oh, this is something I did. And you
Yes.
know, when you've been a victim, to stand up and really claim, oh, I know that was all me. Not only was it all me, but I set the entire thing up. It's a very
Exactly.
empowering thing, very empowering thing to move from that, from one way of thinking and seeing to another. Number one. No, I don't know. I just, for me, there's a lot in this one that we could.
Yes. Well, there is. Something else is this is a part of, well, the download. So the most important thing, so now remember, everything that's coming to me, through me, is for me. This is stuff I'm currently figuring out for myself, right? And this is me conferring with the ascended parts of me that have already, like Sheila said, mastered conscious creation. And those parts of me are available to me today to coach me through this process, right?
Mhm.
So that's what this exercise is for me. And I highly recommend that you do the same exercise for yourself instead of making me the authority on anything for you. So I want to say that. Also, to me, what felt really important when this was coming in is I have been feeling within me a amping up of something. My cells are getting very excited. My body is feeling nervous. So there's some random anxiety popping up. And what I have learned through observing myself over the years, through observation, is that when I feel that anxiety that isn't tied to anxious thoughts or worry that I'm actively participating in, what I've come to discover is that is my spidey sense, my psychic ability picking up on something that is yet unknown to me in the physical reality, but I can feel the waves of the energy build up and I know something's coming and I feel its effect, maybe like it's dancing with my body in a way that's making me feel some kind of way. Okay. So I've come to recognize that that generally is feedback coming to me from the collective. So as I affect the collective with my waves that emanate from me, and the waves that are emanating from me are simply the thoughts, the words, and the deeds that I am participating in on the regular. Those create the waves that then leave me. So those waves, find matching waves and amplify and then return to me. And so when I am experiencing the wave that is coming at me from the collective, I'm really feeling big change, like really big, to, that's going to leave a mark kind of big. And I feel as though today's lesson for me was about really understanding what that means. Okay. And for me, it doesn't mean finally everybody out there is getting a clue. And I can now be happy because we're going to stop doing the stupid stuff. But instead, to recognize that what is being shown to me is the return trip of what has left me. And so, in acknowledging that, I am now taking this change that's happening to the next level, right, of my own authenticity and authority and sovereignty, because those are the waves I'm emitting. Those are the things I'm focusing on. These are the things I speak about, and these are the things I am doing. I am meeting with my team, right? I'm putting the dialogue on paper. These activities that I participate in amplify my thoughts and the words, right? And so that reaches even greater. So now when it returns to me, it's going to be even greater. And as I see the change, I have, there's an option before me now. I can see them and go into fear again, because some of the things that are changing might appear to be a little worse on the surface. For instance, I had a boil once, and it was a horrific event for my life that I will never forget. But I learned so much from it that it was actually a blessing in my life. See what I'm doing here?
Yes.
I took the bump and I put ground flaxseed on it to draw out what was inside. And once I began, we'll call this the healing process, boy, did I ever endure about 2 weeks of mess. Like, I had stuff coming out from within me that I had no idea. I knew there was a hot, angry mound below the surface, but I didn't know what it was. And then I got to see it because it just kept coming and it kept coming. But it came out because I asked it to. I used a drawing salve to pull out what was causing my pain and suffering, right? And so for a while you could say it got worse because, oh my goodness, the mess. And of course, then I had a bit of a hole there because I did actually get to the core of it, but it took several weeks for my body to get to the core of that issue and to expel it. And then once that was done, I was left with a giant gaping hole. And this was a healing experience, but during it, it really felt less than healing, to be honest. So I'm going to put forth that perhaps some of our societal healing might actually look painful, be painful, look horrendous, look worse, like things are getting worse. Suddenly, what was neatly tucked inside, not causing any problems in my exterior world, right? Other than the pain and the suffering it was causing.
Right.
And it was so great. It called forth from within me, deep within me, the desire to heal it. And that desire then led to the wisdom and the knowledge that came in about the flaxseed. And then I embodied the wisdom and knowledge by putting the compress over the boil to begin the drawing process. And all of that served to heal me. I sit before you now, boil free. So I'm grateful that that happened. So I felt the boil situation and what's happening. And I think that we are going to be encountering a moment that things actually erupt a little, right? And the things that were hidden or buried deep within are going to reveal themselves so that we might get to the core of that and remove it, let it go. Because keeping the core present with me was keeping the pain and suffering with me.
Right.
And so I'm now choosing to see anything that looks scary or unfamiliar or painful. I'm now holding this in the light of healing. I now know the healing process and what happens during that process, and I embrace it. And so this was a great reminder to me that no matter what I see, don't go into fear behind it, or I will bind myself to that situation. And I will interrupt what is ongoing healing process that doesn't happen in a blink of an eye. At least it didn't for me. And so I now allow what needs to happen to the space to happen without me going into fear and interrupting that process.
Right.
So for me, that's really what this message was all about. Keeping right here in my conscious awareness that I create my reality, no matter what I am seeing in front of me. And they reminded me here that it takes courage to do so. And so I now celebrate my courage, because the courage leads me right to the path of the solution or the healing response. So
No, I love that, Lisa, and I wrote down this again because I don't. This is probably needs to be a separate conscious conversation. But ever since you covered it in your self mastery masterclass first workshop, and you just brought it forward again, how the thoughts, words, and deeds that emanate from each of us go out and magnify, scoop up, and return to you. And so this is huge. First of all, it is how we create. It is how we create as we move. It is also, I feel, okay, so everybody's had this idea of what karma is, and it's been applied to past life and this life and all of that. And I've now been being shown where, okay, yeah, if you have to do it like that, I suppose. But if indeed, as I have long suspected, if the only moment exists is the ever present moment of now, then it is a multidimensional reality. And therefore, there is no such thing as karma the way folks have in, envisioned,
framed it.
imbibed. Say what?
Framed it.
Right, exactly. All these years, it's not actually been that. It's actually in the moment of now. It is thoughts, words, and deeds emanate at all moments, go out and gather, pick up momentum, amplify, and return. And that makes so much sense, and is a huge. I love the way it said it right there. You say it in the very last. If you wish to make matters better, you only need to love it so that the universe can answer a new call and bless and magnify the love that you are offering. And I want to say that again to for me, because in regards to, those evil, that we classify as evil, and all of that, for me, that is how I see all of that. Magnify that love, because actually it's a service. I know that you have to be at a certain apparently point in your journey to be able to truly grok that, apparently, but it is a service. It feels to me as it was a service that was agreed to by these beings to assist all of the rest of us in the awakening that is now taking place on the planet. And how, for me, how is it then that I would turn and vilify or crucify these beings who loved us so much to do these things to assist our awakening? And for me, now I cannot unsee that, because I applied that in my own life, with all the traumas and the things that happened in my own life, right?
Yes.
To now that I see those traumas as a part of my growth, that had I not experienced, I may not be where I am. How could I then turn and hold any of that in any sort of derision or anything other than love, and see it for the service that it actually is and actually was?
And you're bringing a point forward for me too here with that line, Sheila. This is really an important piece too. Okay, so remember it says fear binds you, and it does. It's a contract, right? And so now the universe must, because it's what it's agreed to do, send you the matching equivalent to what you fear as your experience. Okay, so in a way, you could hold it as, by my fearing this, whatever it is, I am now requiring this fear to be embodied by someone or something to now complete the contract with me. So by actually loving everything, I free the thing that I fear to no longer be the thing that I fear. I give it the space and the freedom. I allow it to be what it actually is, which is love. And it takes a tremendous amount of unconditional love to hold that negativity out, which it is not, in order to serve me, that I know what I am in this now moment. So it's actually a great gift to not require the negative.
Oh, I hope you can remember. Uh, okay, it's actually a gift.
To the being or the thing that has to embody or is embodying, choosing to embody for my benefit, the negativity.
Right.
So it's actually a gift if I can see my own divinity and be my own divinity. I do not require anyone or anything to reflect back to me what I am not. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes, yes. Actually, it made
So
a
that's
lot of
really a
sense.
huge service. And to point out here, these things that are changing on the external of me, my without, is changing because of the changes I am making within. Now, when we speak upon the collective, and what was being shared with me today was that that collective is a reflection of this collective. So more than just me, say it's me and you now. Now,
Right.
the changes are being called forth because you and I are changing within. And as we change, the without must change because we are the same. And so it has to mirror my thoughts, my words, and my actions. It's the divine design here in play. And we knew it full well coming in.
Yes.
And when we know it full well here and now, we will embody it. And where we're going is we will no longer require negative contracts, someone to hold the contrast so that I can see myself. So that's actually a great big gift because in reality, nobody wants to play the devil.
Right.
It just was
Exactly.
required in the game of cops and robbers. Somebody must be the robber so that
Yes.
another can experience themselves as the cop. That's all this is. It's a
Right.
game. It isn't who we are.
No.
And the stakes are high, sure, because we're experiencing what we're playing with. So it feels extremely elevated, right?
Yes.
So choose what to elevate. You
Mhm.
don't have to elevate the evil. You don't have to say there's evil out there and make
Right.
now someone's required to play your villain to your victim. And what the change in the collective is to inform me today is that the fact that these changes are taking place is a direct correlation to the fact that so many coming united and peaceful and whole and satisfied within. That is why the collective without is changing, because it has to. There's no other way. So holding it that way for me is so much more empowering. I can watch all the stuff that goes on now, right? From this vantage point of it's all love and it all serves love. And soon it won't be required anymore
Right.
because love will not call it forth.
Right. I agree.
We will be the love that we are
Yep.
instead of questioning it.
Right. Well, there's an awful lot of again, uh, there's so much that's put forth that I myself, I'll just keep it right here, but I do know that many in the collective do this as well. Things that are put forth that are just accepted as fact that this is happening. When in reality, many don't know anyone personally that has ever had any of that take place for them. On a bigger level, right? On a
Yeah.
smaller level, yes, there's many, 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 many traumas and things that people would classify as evil, right? But I mean, the big mainstream stuff that gets put out there, right? There's a lot of assumptions. And I have found too that we also, pretty much all of us, and myself included, ever since I now feel like assumptions are something that everybody has, we all do that a lot. I am watching myself, and anytime I catch myself making some sort of a idea, thought, or anything based on an assumption or based on something that I've been told is so, that I've always assumed was so, but I have no basis in my personal experience, I no longer hold that as fact. It's a possibility. It's a plausibility, but it doesn't, it no longer serves to produce anxiety, derision,
Right.
all of those things within me, because for why? How? What? I'm doing all of that and emanating all of that on an assumption that what I'm seeing
Yeah.
being, and in most cases, we have no clue as to actually. Oh, there's a lot of folks that are saying a lot of things, and nowadays, especially with things like the deep fakes and the AI, quite frankly, it's
The waters are very muddied right now.
they
Yes.
are.
You bring up such a good point there, Sheila. Thank you. That is so true.
And so I really just know that I don't know the truth of anything except for what I personally have experienced. And therefore,
Yeah.
I will no longer participate in those sorts of things, and just, looking at myself and dealing with all of those sorts of things as they arise. And because this really
Yes.
struck me what you said in your workshop about, because I do know that we emanate and I do know that we create. And this is a huge point. So if I am emanating a thought that whatever it is has me under some sort of, trap, or they're doing this and therefore it's keeping this, I want to
Yes.
see that. I want to, that's because yeah.
And also when you add emotion to it, that's like hitting the accelerator. So now you're driving headstrong, really fast. The more emotionally charged the energy is that's leaving you, and it will pick up charge and it will return to you. So in that way, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. But you pulled something, a memory forward when you were talking about that, not knowing for sure what's really happening. Because when I woke up to some stuff, let's just call it the children, and there's lots of stuff going on that would pertain to the children of this planet that you could bump into down several rabbit holes. Um, um, so I took those trips down the rabbit holes, and I found myself getting very depressed and very sad and very angry, and the quality of my life and my health was deteriorating. And finally, I got down on my knees, and asked guidance to help me to feel better about this. What can I do? Like back then, I thought I needed to do something and that I was here to do something about this, but I was at a loss at what to do. And so that made me feel even more victimized. Like I was powerless and these heinous things were happening and I came here to fix it and I don't know how. And so I just kept stewing in that mess that was amplifying and amplifying until finally on my knees, I'm begging for help. What can I do? How can I assist? And what I discovered, the team was so point on with this one, and it changed my life immediately because I let it go. They asked me, so do you know of any children being abused right now? Personally aware. And I couldn't think of any. And I've run into these children in my lifetime, and I've acted like I up in the solution energy, and and generally what I do in that case, and what I have done and will continue to do, is support the parent, because in reality, there's children do not need abuse, right? They are subject to their parent. So this isn't something you address with the children, you address with the victimizer, right? So you have to be aware of the victimizer. And I was asked if I was aware of, do I know who the victimizers are and what they're doing? And honestly, I couldn't say yes to that, because when I pointed to the evidence that I had, I was told that that was only hearsay because I was not privy to experiencing the facts of this taking place. I was not a witness to it myself. So I was allowing hearsay to dictate how I felt about a thing. And the fact that I felt like children were being victimized right, left, and center pulled into my reality more of such evidence, if you will.
Yeah.
So I had to realize that if it is in fact going on, which I'm sure that it is, because I have witnessed actual child abuse in the moment of it, and I do address it right then. And that's all that I can do. I can do nothing. And I always address it, whatever it is, with love, because I know love is what's missing in the equation. So I show up with it. I don't bring pitchforks and ropes.
Right.
I bring love. And that is basically what I was asked to do. So when I see things like that, to just send love to those who are misinformed. And that way, if there is something there, then the energy of love that leaves me will return to me, and I won't get tethered or bound through my own fear or victimization to a situation I really don't want to participate in, which is why I was emotionally upset to begin with.
Right.
So knowing that if there's nothing here for me to act on, then there's really nothing here for me to fear or be upset about, because it's just not in my purview, and it wasn't put before me to act upon, if that makes any sense.
Well, it makes perfect sense. And well, for like I said, for me personally, having when my first part of my awakening started with the truther, the corruption on the planet, that sort of
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah.
And then the spiritual things came later.
Okay.
So for me, I went down all those rabbit holes too.
Sure.
And the difference now is for me, as you said, is the knowing that if my thoughts, words, and deeds are indeed how we create, which that's my operating system at the moment. It's what my current thinking is on the situation, and it's always subject to change as new data arrives.
That's right. Beautiful. You have to be open.
Right. And so
Learn and grow.
I'm not, this is, again, it's not to say that those things don't exist, but there's
Yeah.
so much that goes on that is perhaps not at all, again, what it seems. And I don't have enough data to get all worked up enough so that I am emanating something that is now not solution rather than solution,
Right.
based on whether or not it's anybody's guess whether or not it's actually true.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's now I again, because of my activities in the truther community, I know how easy it is to put out information that isn't correct to sway the masses.
I've done it myself, though, putting out information that wasn't correct because I saw it and I got triggered and I shared it all around.
Right.
Yes.
Well, and I'm also speaking on not just that. Yes, you're right. That's a sharing of information that was originally created. But what
Mm-hmm.
I've seen happening now, and what I cannot unsee, is that there's armies of beings. That's all they do is create things to create division,
Oh,
derision,
I see.
get people all worked up with propaganda and things that, well, they could be true and they may be true. And, so that everybody gets very emotionally charged as to what exactly how you were saying. Again, I'm not saying things don't happen because I know that they do. I know
Right.
that they happen right inside people's homes. And, so the thing of it is, though, is how we look at it and how we think, speak, and work on it, right? And so I feel
Yeah.
like that's what we're speaking on here, and I wanted to be very clear about that.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Very good point.
Wow, this has really been a really good one. I know we've been a little deeper perhaps than we might normally, but we're feeling, you and I are both feeling the need for a
I
DIY
think it's a deep
session.
moment.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I've been going deep within.
me too.
Um, but the deep has the peace. So it's beckoning now. It used to be a scary place because I didn't know what all was there, and but the more time I spend there, the more peace I find there, the more I retreat to that. And having that to balance everyday life here in this reality helps keep me anchored and centered in the knowing of myself as love, which makes the experiencing of everything that is experiencing here so much lighter, so much more enjoyable. And you know, we all have to unbind and unwind this within ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But once the very last one of us does that, then no one's creating evil anymore. No one is emanating these thoughts, right? So, wow, that's actually available to me right now, as there is only one moment of now. And on one level of all that is, that healed moment is now. So when I go deep, I'm accessing that wholeness, and I'm bringing it here now through my emanations, right? Because I'm in the deep peace and harmony, and then I emanate the deep peace and harmony.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been feeling wonderful, and I highly recommend, you know, playing around and seeing, you know, what the deep feels like to you and what it creates in your world.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, let's play
Wow.
together.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And please also convey my thanks to your team as well, for participating in the Actionable Intuitive Intel with Lisa
Quite grateful
Flemino.
for you. Yeah,
Well, I
they're
just,
very grateful for you.
like I said, the feeling is so, so mutual. Um, I just love that. And I'm going to tell you, I now know what this one's going to be called. It's The Path of Peace Leads You Home.
I love that.
Yeah, that's the last sentence in your first paragraph, and I just think that that's exactly what this is. And the truth of the matter is that that really is what we've been talking about here this entire time. You know, that
Yes.
path of
Yeah.
peace, that love, just no matter what it is, because of the fact that so much has been colored and filtered and not at all what it actually is. It's like, well, how many times do you got to discover that nothing is as it appears until you begin to understand the word nothing? That means nothing is as it appears. So you got to be open to seeing it all, right? And not, I don't know, it's really been hard for me to get to that place where I don't attach an opinion to what it is I'm seeing, or a classification, because of our programming and conditioning. That's how we learned in this realm to begin with. This is a piece of paper. This is a pen. That's how so we classify, label, and judge or discern or form an opinion about every single thing that comes up. And so just because it's always been held in one way does not mean that I can't change my way of experiencing that now, to where I see all of it as love, and and there is nothing evil. It is an act of love and service that has been mislabeled as evil because of what it's serving to bring out, is the way I look at it. But it's certainly not to be for me anymore. That's an opinion, and I won't. I don't. I will no longer engage in that sort of activity.
That's right. That's right. And that's the true changer. You know, that's what changes the playing board itself. It's
Yeah.
to play the new game, to choose differently. That's it, and that's all.
Yep. Well, I'm going to end it by actually, I would like to read the last sentence again. If you wish to make matters better, you need only to love it so that the universe can answer a new call and bless and magnify the love that you are offering. And that is so true. Thank you so much, Lisa and team. Okay, so before we go, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't notice you were frozen again, and so are you back?
That's okay. I just said much love to you.
Oh, okay. Well, so I wanted to make tell everyone again, we are still having folks, if you're interested in joining us for this trilogy by Thomas Campbell, My Big Toe, which stands for Theory of Everything. He is a physicist who has written a book, and I'm going to just read this real quick thing here. If you have a logical, open, and inquisitive mind, an attitude of scientific pragmatism that appreciates the elegance of fundamental truth and the thrill of breakthrough, you will enjoy this journey of personal and scientific discovery. This trilogy delivers the next major scientific conceptual breakthrough since relativity and quantum mechanics raised scientific eyebrows in the first half of the 20th century. No catch, no megalomania, no hypothetical wackiness, no goofy beliefs, no unusual assumptions, just straightforward science that better describes the totality of our experience. I wanted to say existence. And provides a wealth of practical results and new understanding that can be applied personally and professionally by scientists and non-scientists alike. This is the real thing. And Lisa's mother has read this all the way through. Lisa's already begun. You're in the second book now, right?
Yeah, I haven't been reading since I've been workshopping, but
I gotcha.
I'm excited to get back to reading. Yes.
Right. So we are going to begin this as a group. If you would like to participate, it's a very, very, very laid back thing. It's 2 hours once a week, and we are reading together. Is the way we do this. We are reading together, and then we will stop and chat about what we're reading as anyone feels to do so. So if this sounds like something that, and there's no charge for this, this is just, folks who are interested in expanding their consciousness and getting to know themselves really. And I like the idea of pulling science in. Why not?
Yeah, I do too.
Mhm.
I feel like finally science is catching up, and it's exciting. And yeah, I wanted to read it out of curiosity, and I was so impressed. I kept going, and then I kept talking about it, and before you know it, we're studying it, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And I would recommend in study because it has been really, really rewarding for me to do that. Because, this is all a solo journey, right? This is me communing with me and learning about my world and studying myself and doing so in company with others who hold a similar intention is so rewarding. And because we're all together, right, and our toroidal fields are emanating our thoughts and our feelings and our words that we share together, all of that becomes available to me in this energetic envelope that we create together. And I am also gifting the others with my presence, right, when I show up. And so really you help me go deeper into me. And so I really recommend, if you are on a path to discover self, to do so in company. It feels magnificent.
Yes, it
I
does.
just love it. I'm so glad that we are doing this now.
Right. Well, that is something that I think one of the reasons why you and I are so why we have been able to go kind of deep because it's a matter of play and quest and discovery and delving
Yeah.
into self rather than, out here somewhere, right? So yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for today. And I just wanted to bring that up again because we are going to be doing that, but probably into September. Um, Lisa's got a lot coming up, a lot to finish with the workshops, and she's going to be away for a little bit. And so sometime in September. So if you would like to join us, go ahead and send an email to consciousconversationscentral@gmail.com. And in the subject line, just put my big toe. And that if you'd like, that's all you have to do. But you're welcome to say anything else you'd like. But if you have some specific days and times of the week that would work for you, that'd be lovely if you don't mind sharing it. So we could try to keep all of that in mind. Yeah. It kind of give me an idea, give us an idea because we had already thought about, well, we can do more than one group at a time. So, I know from our past experiences that just what you were sharing there about doing this in company, because I've also noticed that changes with the company as well. Like, because I've read the Jeshua channelings fully 3 times and sometimes in different company, and I've gotten different things with the same words each time. And I cannot help but feel that it's because I've had access to something that someone else was carrying in their field that they were feeling, thinking, and experiencing while we were going over that material that helped me to get to see a new insight. This is what you're speaking on, I feel, correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, that's what I thought. And so, yeah, I'm not opposed to doing more than one at a time of this particular book. So, if folks will just, let us know a couple of days and times of the week that would work for you, be sure and include your time zone where you are. So we are in the Eastern time zone, just to be clear on that. And if it's not applicable, start your own group. I tell you, it's fabulous,
Exactly.
man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what
Yeah.
I was saying. If you don't want to join us, I recommend, creating one. Just experiencing it is marvelous.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Well, thank you so much, my love. I will invite everyone to continue to move towards that which brings them joy in each moment that presents itself to you, because it's really just a matter of your perspective and maybe taking a moment to see if you can look at it a different way may be of assistance to you to choose the higher joy, because I feel like there's always a way. And till next time.
Much love.